And will we ever get to know what that truth is? How do we make sense of the reaction in the valley among certain sections? Is it about politics? Is it about mistrust? Is it about denial? Or are the opposition parties playing politics with the truth? That's our debate tonight. Let's get started with Muzaffar Beg. He's joining us from Srinagar tonight. Muzaffar Beg of the PDP. Mr. Beg, it was your party that wanted a CBI inquiry. Now that the CBI has completed its inquiry, you reject the inquiry because you do not agree with the conclusion. Isn't this a kind of deeply selective and manipulative politics to play?
I must correct you. We never asked for CBI inquiry into this matter at all, because CBI's credibility had been challenged in the High Court also. And the Bar Association president, who was pursuing the case in a public interest litigation, withdrew from the proceedings when CBI was appointed as an investigating agency. We had asked for a judicial inquiry. In the legislature and outside, we said a sitting judge of the Supreme Court or of High Court should investigate the matter. But so your very basis, premise is wrong.
1 minute. Mr. Beg,
yes.
There was also Justice Jan's own investigation, and the Jan committee, interestingly, also pointed to an internal family dispute possibly being responsible for the death of these two women. So do you accept what is listed in the annexures of the Justice Jan report?
Justice Jan's report is full of contradictions and ambiguity. Nobody has taken that seriously. We want a proper judicial inquiry, not a commission of inquiry. We want inquiry by a judge. There is difference between an inquiry instituted under the Inquiries Act and an inquiry or investigation conducted by a sitting judge of the Supreme Court or of High Court.
Okay.
That's
so
not a political appointment. Jan's appointment was a political appointment.
All right, so Justice Jan is rejected because it's a political appointment, and the CBI is rejected because you do not believe it's an institution that has credibility in the valley. Let me get Mehboob Beg in now from the National Conference. The National Conference is being very cautious. It doesn't want to slip up again on Shopian. But do you believe that the CBI's findings can be treated in this case with credibility?
That's right. Barkha, what do you do? An unfortunate incident takes place. What do you do? You look up to an institution to look into it. You can't decide, an individual cannot decide what had happened. We can understand the anger, we can understand the reaction on the streets. It is an emotive issue, no doubt about it. It shouldn't have happened, it has happened. But how do you go about it? You ask an institution which is a credible institution. I'm talking about the CBI.
You believe the CBI's findings therefore can be believed?
No, question is, what do you do?
What other option do you have?
How do you go about it? How will you go for the truth?
Okay, Wajad Habibullah, how do we make sense of what we're seeing in the valley? There are two ways of looking at it. One is that institutions are not regarded with credibility because of a long tortured history that the valley has been subject to. The other is that you have politicians playing politics with the truth. Or is it a bit of both?
Well, you have to see it in the context of what's been happening in that unhappy state over the last 20 years. There is deep mistrust. If you come up with a report, if you come up with any claims, this is not going to be taken at its face value by the people. There is deep mistrust.
But there have been two inquiries after that, Justice Jan.
But you must, as I'm saying, put it in this context, there have been terrible incidents that have occurred in that state over the past 20 years. Or terrible things that have happened and have gone unpunished. And the point is that now, as a symptom of the recovery, people are saying that if something goes wrong, they want punishment. They have to be convinced that what is happening is correct. And it's not a question of only the CBI report. Now the CBI report is before the High Court.
Tuba.com